Right, what's the steps you come on board there, guys? You're going to be captain.
Thank
so
you.
You're going to take the left-hand chair, just watch your head, take a seat, and then we'll come and lock your chair in place. See where you want to sit, guys.
Perfect.
And photographs and video is fine, we just recommend you keep the flash off.
Yes.
Don't have to, didn't recommend it.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
Flash off the screen, that's all. Right, okay, the chair's going to come in the middle. And you tell me where it's good for you. How's that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. It's recording. Right. Okay. Right, so like I say, my name's Neil. If you've got any questions when we're flying, ask away. That's what we're here for. This is obviously the flight deck of the 737-800 NG, next generation. But it's basically the same as the 600 that you're used to.
Yeah.
It's all standard controls. It's fully functional. Everything and every switch works as it should do. It's all FAA certified and approved. And we do all the real pilot training in here all the time.
I was going to say you do professional training in here then.
I was doing all day Thursday this week.
Wow, okay. Amazing.
It was a busy day Thursday.
Yeah.
So you know, we did a lot that day, including stalls and things like that. It was all quite good. So yeah, so this is just like the real thing, but I'm sure you'll be fine. But the pitch power couple is the big danger.
Okay.
And when you start deploying the flaps, to see flaps 5 at 200 knots, for example, the lift that it generates is unreal. So you need to be ready to keep the nose down, or it'll start going in low speed and stall.
Yeah, that'll feel different on here compared to the PC.
Totally. There is a captain's hat there. I see you got your own hat though, but it's there should you want it. Okay. So like I say, with Innsbruck, we'll start off here, and I'll taxi out for you. I'll get you lined up, and then basically it's going to be all yours. Do you need a brief on anything? I'm sure you probably know it.
I probably know. If I just shout, if there's anything you say something, but everything looks the same.
Yeah. Oh, it should do. Yeah.
So it should be fine.
Standard yoke, up, down, left and right. Your left thumb does the elevator trim.
Oh, right, okay, so there's no trim on the PC one, so that'll be different.
Right, okay. Happy with what trim is, or what we do it for? Keeping it all in balance. So if you're pulling back to keep the nose up, we need to trim the nose up.
Okay.
And in this case, you would bring the two buttons down over, and the wheel will start moving back over. The nose starts to come up, and therefore you release a bit of the pressure you had in. And eventually, at some point, you'll be flying hands-free, equilibrium, in balance. Likewise, if you're pushing forward to keep the nose down, two buttons, push them up over, trims the nose down, you can release a bit of the pressure till it gets to neutral, you're in trim.
So they should do the same thing.
So
you did that one for down, one for up.
No, just on your yoke, the left-hand side is two buttons, that's your elevator trim. Nothing on the right-hand side for you, just your left hand. And you've got to move both buttons. It's a safety feature. Up or down. And then the trim is required. And as long as they're basically the bottom of the green for takeoff, we'll be alright.
Okay.
Somewhere in the green arc, but especially near the bottom, it just makes it easier to rotate. Otherwise you're like pulling.
Yeah.
What's going on? I'm just going to turn the fuel pumps on next with the fuel rest, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, let's do a few little tests. We'll make sure the whole aircraft systems are all okay. Cancel, cargo, extinguishers, cancel. Right, so set your flaps. So I'll be co-pilot. I'll do the flaps in gear for you as a minimum.
Lovely.
We'll let the auto throttle do the throttles initially, but they are there if you want them. Rudders, pretty standard as well. If you do left rudder forward, it's going to yaw to the left, and vice versa if you do right rudder. Your issue with the 737 is very powerful brakes, differential braking. So if you've got left and right toe brake. So if you get a little bit panicky or a little bit heavy-footed on taking off or landing, and you start putting a bit of rudder in and you catch the brake, just a dead easy done. It locks the wheel and it'll pull you off the runway. Or if you're landing, there's a crosswind and you catch it, there's a deer, and you get a bit heavy-footed on landing, you just catch the brake, it disconnects the auto brakes.
Oh, does it? Yes.
And then you keep going down, and I'm not stopping here, and then, oh my god, and you've got a brake. The only little light comes on, that's the only thing you've got to say, it's disconnected. So on landing, super careful that we don't get heavy-footed. And the best way to avoid that is just slide your feet down to the bottom, tippy toes at the bottom of the rudders. Because in reality, you shouldn't need more than a centimetre or two.
I was going to ask you that, I wouldn't expect that much.
Literally, I mean, see what I'm doing there? Just that's
just a
it.
touch,
Just a tiny bit. If you do more than that, there's something else wrong as well, you know, because it's very powerful rudder, and next thing you know, you get like a Dutch roll going on. You don't want to go near that. So even though your damper's on, you can still overdo it. So we're done with tests down there. There's trims. We'll do a system test. Just make sure it's all okay.
We've got our seatbelts on ready.
I'm with the seatbelt on, son.
Yeah.
We're free to
Jump
move
with the
around.
gun. Not many people do that.
They're very well behaved. It won't last.
Yeah, I was going to say, give us 5
Hydraulics
minutes.
are all good. Auto brake set to rejected takeoff. Recall check. There's no errors. Lights are on. If you can now turn on the no smoking seatbelts, just flicking forward. And no smoking as well next to it. Perfect. Start switches go to continuous mode. And window overheat is okay. Airspeed test is okay. And anti-stall stick shaker.
Good experience that.
Is on, yeah, auto and auto off. Okay, right. So what I'll do is I'll taxi out for it. For departure in Innsbruck, do you want the simple straight ahead departure, or do you want the slightly more challenging departure and then fly through the valley?
Let's go through the valley and see what happens.
That's the right answer. That's the right one.
Make the most of it.
So I'm doing left rudder, a little bit of left brake, and a bit of right throttle, just to get it spin around.
Okay, yeah.
Differential throttle. You okay, passengers?
Very good, thank you, yeah.
If anybody doesn't feel okay at any point in time, just let me know, okay?
Okay.
Because you get to see all of the screen moving around.
Yes,
So it can be a bit disorientating at the back, to be honest, sometimes. And you've also got a heater under your seat there, so if it gets too hot,
Yes.
let me know.
Okay. I will
I
do,
can
yes,
turn that
we'll do.
down. Or as a switch, you can just flick it down yourself. Okay, so I'm just going to use the rudders. Well, I've got a tiller, but I'll just use the rudders. I haven't got one, so I'll have to use the rudders on this side. And obviously the nose wheel is 10 feet behind the cockpit. So if I'm going to follow this taxi line here, I've got to go slightly past it. I've got to imagine the wheels back here. And like I say, we're getting this Concorde coming at the end of the month. And Concorde, the cockpit, is it's 35 feet ahead of the nose wheel. And you've got 20 odd foot of pointy nose. So 55 foot or something like that to negotiate when you're taxiing Concorde. So at this airport, I'm going to do a right turn. The backtrack is we do the right turn here in Concorde, we would be over the grass.
Over the grass.
But the nose wheel back there will be doing the turn, hopefully, on the runway. Keep the left hand side here, so I've got that turning circle on the right to do the turn in case I need it. So you're happy with the primary flight display, the speed, altitude,
All the same,
yeah, white square in the middle, that's the nose of the aeroplane. Level flight with today's fuel load is when that square is going to be roughly in the middle of the next white line.
Okay.
That'll probably be level flight, slightly above the horizon.
Okay.
And for the climb, I recommend going this way anyway, 10 degrees nose high.
10 degrees.
And of course, it's the next flight you pick if you want to do more realistic, as in with flight directors on, so you can follow the flight directors, we can do that. So that's the centre line before coming left. The brakes on there. Right, so on the autopilot, we're not going to use it, but I'll just set it up ready in case. So it's 130 knots to rotate, and we'll keep the climb going all the way to 15,000 feet above the Alps here. And we'll practice some simple left and right turns, maintain the altitude, and we'll do some basic climbing turns, and then some descending turns. And then we'll start coming back down, and we'll do some touch and goes and landings and things like that. Okay then, so happy with all the primary flight display, happy with the navigation display? Yep, so just turn along and we'll bring the head and select, and then the same heading as us. So for takeoff, I'll add the power for you. You've got the rudders, so I'll take my feet off. You've got the yoke as well. It may want to start raising the nose too early. If so, a bit of forward pressure to keep the nose on the ground so you've got directional control. At 130 knots, I'll say V1 rotate, sticks back, 10 degrees nose high, keep it at 10 degrees, and by then we'll be nearly hitting the mountain, so it's a right hand
Right
turn
turn,
down
yeah.
the valley, okay, and just follow the valley basically.
Yeah, okay.
Keep it at 10 degrees, keep the climb